So I'm creating one file index.html, and I'm creating another file called as style.css. If I open the index.html, there are three ways by which I can assign the style sheet. So first way is called the external style sheet. So first way is called external style sheet. So external style sheet means we create an external file called as style.css or any other CSS file with different name, and we call this CSS file in this index.html. This is called external style sheet. So external style sheet means I will call this style.css in this page. So how to call this style.css in this page? I will write a code called as link, and in the link I will give the first parameter as a rel, and in the rel I will say style sheet, then I will say type, and I will define type as text CSS, then I will give the href, and in the href I will give the file name which I want to include. And which file name I want to include? I want to include style.css. So I will say style.css, and I will close the tag. This tag does not have closing tag, so this is a tag which tells the HTML page that we want to include style.css. So whatever the style sheet we want to use in this page, we will define the style sheet here in the style.css, and we will call the style.css in this page, and this is called external style sheet. So what is the external style sheet? Define the style sheet outside the index.html or outside the HTML file, and call this style sheet file using the link tag. And in the link tag, we have to mention the rel, we have to mention the type, and we have to mention the href. Href will be the location of the style sheet which we want to include. So whatever we define in this style sheet, for example, I say body, and I will say font size is equal to, for example, 11 pixel. So in this index.html, every element in the body will get the font size of 11. So I will put something hello world, and then I will go into the live view. So you see the style sheet has applied 11 font to all the HTML tags. Though this h1 tag looks little bigger, but overall it gives the size of 11 pixel to the all the HTML tag. Since this is h1 tag, though it's 11 pixel, but it looks bigger. But if we see all other tags, it will be look smaller compare, and it will be 11 pixel. So how we got this style sheet? We got this style sheet by putting the style in the style.css file, and we call this index.css style.css file in this index.html file. So this is one way to use the style sheet. Now the second way is, there are three ways. Second way is called internal style sheet. I will put h2, and here I will say internal style sheet. The internal style sheet works like this way. I create the style tag. I create the style tag here only in this page, and I will say type equal to text CSS, and I can define all the CSS properties here in this style tag. So for example, I can say div tag, give the color of red. So if I create any div tag, so it will get the color of red. So what is the internal style sheet? Internal style sheet is style sheet on the HTML page itself, where we start with the style tag and end with the style tag, and we give the properties inside this style tag. So this is called internal style sheet. Why it is called internal? Because it is in the HTML page only. Why this is called external style sheet? Because it is outside the index.html or HTML file, and it is a third party file. It is not included in the HTML file. It is external to the HTML file, and that is the reason it is called external style sheet. And this is called internal style sheet. And third type is called the inline style sheet. Third type is called inline styles. Inline styles work like this way. I create a p tag, for example, hello world, and in the p tag, I define the style inside the p tag. For example, I will say p space style, and I will define the styles inside the style. So, for example, I will say color equal to blue, font size equal to 14 pixel. So you will see hello world has got the color of blue and size of 14 pixel, and we have defined this style sheet inside the tag, and that is the reason it is called inline styles. So what are the three ways? One is external, where we create the style.css outside the HTML file, and we call this style.css using the link property. Second is called internal style sheet, where we define the style tag here in the page, and we define the properties inside the style tag. And third type is called the inline styles. Inline styles is something where we define the tag and we create the style tag, and we put all the styles inside the style tag, whatever style we want. So this is called inline style sheet. So out of these three types, which one is the best according to you?
External one.
External one. What is the reason?
Because it can be used by other different HTML page.
Right. Because my website will be having hundreds of HTML pages, and if I put inline style sheet or internal style sheet, then if I want to change at one place, that means I have to change in all the files. All the 100 files has to be changed, but that will be a problem. So it is better to put in the external style sheet, and then if we want to change it, we will change in the external style sheet, and all the HTML pages will be reflected with the change. So that's the reason external style sheet is the best. So always try to create the external style sheet and include that external style sheet in the index.html. So this is all about today's CSS one. From Monday, we'll start the layout part of the CSS. Layout means width, height, position, display, and padding, margin. This is all we start on Monday in the style sheet. So today we completed the simple basic stuff of the CSS. We saw how to apply the CSS to different tags. We saw how to include the external style sheet, internal style sheet, inline style sheet, and we just gone with the basics of the style sheet. So from Monday we'll start the real part of the CSS, that is called the layout of the CSS. So whenever we build a website, we need to give the padding, we need to give the margin, we need to give the border, we need to give the width, height. We will look at those factors from the Monday. So this is all about today's style sheet. I will put this code in the chat if you want, but otherwise you can watch the video and get it, or you take the notes when I explain you. So this is all about today's CSS. Let's start with now JavaScript. So yesterday we saw the functions, how to create the functions, and we will see more about the function today. I will write the script tag and all the JavaScript will go inside the script tag. So I will create one function, for example, blog. And to make this function as an object, I will create a variable called as var obj, for example, is equal to new blog. So anytime if we want to create an object from the function, we have to use the word new, and we have to say new the function name. So this will become object. So now this object, how it becomes object? By passing the new keyword. Okay. Now the thing is that if I want to create some variable, so instead of block, let me create another function called as math, and I will say new math. So I'm creating a function called as maths, and I'm creating object from this function by calling the new keyword. ये बानी को दे जल्दी कर. Okay. So now let's say if I want two variables in this math function, Bani को दे. First will be, one second. First will be, for example, this dot x. I will say first variable as this dot x equal to something. I will put something in few minutes. And then I will say this dot y is equal to something. And I will put something in the y also. So now I want to add these two numbers. So I need to create a function called as add. So how will I create the add function? I will say this dot add. I will create a function called as add, and I will say is equal to function, and I'll start with the curly bracket. So this is one way to add the function inside the main function. So what I'm doing, I'm creating add function inside this maths function, and I am saying that this dot add is equal to function. Generally, we have seen the syntax for the function is function and the function name. But here is the another way to call the function, and it is called this dot add is equal to, or any name. You can give name, any name, whatever name you want to give, is equal to, we create a function, and this function start with the curly bracket and end with the curly bracket. It is same like a function, but writing part is little different. The syntax is little different. So if I want to create another function called as subtract, I will say this dot subtract is equal to function, and I'll start with the curly bracket, end with the curly bracket. So if I want to add something, let's say if I want to add two numbers, I can use these two numbers. I can say this dot return this dot x plus this dot y. Similarly, if I want to do something here, I can say return this dot x minus this dot y. So initially what I said, I created two variables, and I am using those two variables in the two functions which are defined inside the function. Now from where the x will come? X will come from some parameter which I will pass here, parameter 1, and y will come with some another parameter called as parameter 2. So I will assign this parameter 1 to this dot x, I will assign this parameter to this dot y. So now when I create this object, I will pass these two values. For example, I will say 4, 3. When I pass two values here in this one, that means 4 will go as a parameter 1, 3 will go as a parameter 2. So this dot x will become parameter 1, that is the 4. This dot y will become the parameter 2, that is the 3. And then when I call this function, for example, var, let's say, maybe I can say s equal to object dot add. And when I say object dot add, what it will do? It will take the x value which I defined here, and it will add with the y value which I defined here. And then it will return the total sum. And now if I do console.log of adding of two numbers is s. So s will be the adding of the two numbers. So what will be the result of the s? What will be the value of the s? What will be the value of s? Can you tell me?
7.
7. Okay, so this is little difficult to understand, but let's try to go through it again, because it's little difficult to understand because it's a new thing which you may not have studied before. So let's go to the browser and do something. Okay, let's do something here in the browser. I will go to the console.log of the browser, and I will say I will create a function, and I will create a function with the name of math, and I will pass two parameters here, p1 and p2, and inside this function I will say this dot x or number 1 is equal to p1, and I will say this dot number 2 is equal to p2. Now if I create an object of this math function, I will say object is equal to math, and I will pass two values, maybe 4, 3. Then if I say object dot number 1, what will be the output? If I say object dot number 1, what will be the output?
4.
4. And if I say object dot number 2, what will be the output? 3. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is little difficult to understand for the beginner. So before even going to this difficult part, let's try to understand the simple stuff of the functions, and not going to the object of the functions. We will just go about the functions. Okay, let's first try to understand what are the functions. So I will say function say hello, and I will say here console.log hello Mr. Jack. So when I call this function say hello, what will be displayed? Hello Mr. Jack. Now if I say hello, I call this function. So what will be the output?
Hello, Mr. Jack.
Okay, so if I enter it, you see it's saying hello Mr. Jack. Let's try to create another function. Function output. Here we created a function and we call the function. So what happened when we call the function? It displayed this console.log of whatever we displayed here. Now this is another function where I am passing parameter to the function. I will say output and some text. And I will say here console.log of text. Whatever I pass this to this function, display that text. Now, if I say output hello, so what will be displayed? What will be displayed when I say output hello?
Hello.
Hello. So when I say output hello, it will go inside here as a text. Hello will go and it will display, do the console.log of the text. And what is the text? Text is something which I am passing here. That is the hello. So it is displaying the hello. Now let's try to call something different. If I say output, if I say hello, and if I give another parameter, other text, so what do you think? What will be the display?
Both of them.
What will be the display?
Hello, other text.
So you think that both the things will come?
Yeah. No.
So
It
which
will
one?
come, first come hello, second come other text.
So what will be the output when I press enter?
One line is hello, the second line is other text.
Okay. So since we have only one parameter here and we are doing console.log of that parameter, so the other parameter which we send will have no effect. It will go in the error. So when I press enter, it's saying only the one because it take only the first parameter. It does not know about the second parameter. It will know about the second parameter only if we define second parameter here in the output. Okay, now if I pass output, I don't pass any parameter. Now what will be the output?
New? No.
Null. So it will be actually, we are not defining it, it's saying undefined. So it's kind of no value kind of thing. Means it's not defined or we are not passing something. If I say output empty string, it will give the empty text. Nothing is there. But if I'm not passing anything, that means it try to get the text one, but it is not defined. That's the reason it's saying undefined. This first part we have to check, not the second part. This first part is saying undefined. Okay, let's try to do some other thing. I will create a function called as function sum, and I will pass two parameters, number 1 and number 2. Here I am passing only one parameter and we are doing console.log. But in this case, we will not do console.log, but we will do return of the statement. Return of number 1 plus number 2. So when I say, now if I call something, now to get this result, I need to put this result in the variable. Otherwise, I won't be able to show it. So I will create a variable var x equal to sum 1 comma 2. Now nothing will be displayed because we are not doing console.log yet. So what will happen now? It will go into the sum, that is this function, with number 1 and number 2, and it will add both the numbers and it will return it. Return it means total sum will come out of the function and it will be assigned to the variable called as x. So now in the memory location of x, we have the addition of these two numbers. Now if I press enter, nothing will be there displayed because we are not displaying yet. We only assign the total of these two numbers to the variable x. Now if I do console.log of x, I will get the result which is saved here in this line. So what will be the result?
3.
3. So I am getting 3. So there are three parts of the function. First part we did it without passing the parameter. We just created a function and we put the console. Second method is we created a function, we passed the parameter, and we displayed this parameter which we are passing. And third way, we created a function, we passed the parameter, and we return the result. We did not did console.log. When we return it, we have to take it in some variable. So we took it in the variable called as x. And then when we do the console.log of x, we will get the result, which is the return of this number 1 and number 2. So these are the three kinds of the functions which we generally find in the JavaScript. I will put this in the chat, but don't expect every time that I will be giving you this notes. You try to write down when I explain. But right now I'm giving because it's a small one, so I'm giving you. But next time try to take the notes. Okay, because when we go in the advanced section, we will be doing lot of codes, and at that time I won't be able to do copy paste and give you. So try to take the notes when I explain, or watch the video later and try to get the notes. So these are two methods. So these three things we did in the functions today. So try to remember these three things. Tomorrow we will go more on the JavaScript. On Monday we'll go more on the JavaScript, and we will see much detail in the JavaScript on Monday. So that's it for today's JavaScript, and we will move to our project session. And project session will be, I will log in with the Windows machine. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello?
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 Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
We can hear
Hello?
you. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay.
Okay, I don't know why it didn't work before. Okay, so now let's go to the Dreamweaver. Now my question is, try to insert with both the ways. You feel you got any problem, or everything works fine?
So far, so good.
Did you try both the ways of insert?
Yes.
Okay, did it work or it gives error?
It works.
Okay, so you were able to see the record in the data, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. What about Kerry? Did you tried it?
I tried the first way. I didn't get a chance to do the second way yet.
Okay, so do the second way today, because if you skip these sessions, then in the end you have to do lot in one day. So try to do the same day when I explain. This way you will be able to capture with the class. Otherwise, after 10 days you will be lost. Okay, so today try today's method also and yesterday's one also. Okay, so now we inserted the record in the database, which we can see here in the database. Let's see in the database. Where is the database? Here is the database. And we were able to successfully insert in the first table, second table, and the third table. So let's see that record in the first table. We have record in the first table, and we have record in the second and third table also. So let's concentrate on the first table also only. Now, when we have record in the first table, we definitely want to show this record to the user. So for example, if I go to any website, for example, consider the website of Facebook. So if I go to let's go to another website. Okay, let's try to do some other stuff today. So let's go to what is my another website, favorite website? On this one. Which website you like? What is a good website? Okay, let's go to this website. Okay. I'll tell you some of the website. I have to think on the good website, which will tell you exactly what I mean to do. So ultimately, aim is this record which I have put it in the database. I want to display it to the user. So, for example, in the Facebook, when we put something in our wall, we put in the and it immediately appears in our news feed. So that is something we want to display the things. Once it is inserted in the database, we want to display the things to the user. So to display the things, we should create one page where we should be able to display the things to the user. So today we will learn about the showing the result to the user. So that is called browse. So I will create a file called as browse one.php. Browse means I want to see what I have inserted into the database. User will not go into the my database and see the results. He needs some page. I want to show the user details. So we want to create some page where I can show these details to the user. So this is called my browse one page. Now I will put here some text. I will say all users. So whatever user I put in my database table, I want to display those users. These are the users. One is this user, one is this user. So I want to display all users here. So how to display the users here? So to display the users here, we need to create one server behavior. You have to go to the server behavior and you have to create one server behavior called as record set. So I will create the record set and I will give the name of this record set. For example, since this is the list of the users, so I will give the sensible name to the record set as RS user. That means I want to display the users. Now, which connection I want? I will choose the connection. Which table I want to show? There are three tables. Today we will work in the first table. So I will display the first table. Do you need the filter? I will explain you what is the filter is. Right now, don't worry about it. We will see the filter in couple of minutes, maybe today only. So right now, I don't want to give the filter. Now, do you want the sorting? Sorting means you want to arrange the records by first name or last name or email or gender or date of birth or marital status or created date or access level. So it depends on you how you want to sort the results. Right now, I will not choose any sorting here. I will say test. So to test, if I click test, I will see all the records here, first record and second record. And I will say OK. So our first purpose is solved. We created the record set and you can see this record set is created here in the server behavior. Record set does not show anything on the page. It only creates something in the page, in the memory, that select all the users from this table. But it will not display anything here to the user. And if you go to the code level, you will see some PHP code is added to the page to show the users from this first table. We are not concerned about understanding the code today because we have to understand how to create a website. We will understand this code later on in few days when we complete all the parts of this application objects. When we complete all this part of application object, then we will see code one by one. So right now, I created the record set. So whenever you want to show something, whenever you want to display something, just create the record set. Now we have to display the records to the user. So to display the user, I will click the insert. I will click the application object. Here also I can create the record set. So either I can click record set here, or I can click the record set here. Either way, both are good. But once record set is created, we want to show this record set. We want to show the results to the user. To show the results to the user, I will go to the application object and I will select the dynamic data, and in the dynamic data I will select the dynamic table. There is difference between dynamic text and dynamic table, which I will explain you some other day. Right now you have to choose this dynamic table. So let's create this dynamic table. I will click the dynamic table. Now it's showing which record set you want. Right now we have created only one record set. Tomorrow if our site grows, there may be 4 or 5 record set in one page. So we have to choose which record set I want to display here. So I'm saying RS user. Now how many records you want to display in one page? I can say all records, then all the records will be displayed. Whatever is there here in this table, it will be displayed. Or I can choose 10 records at a time, or 5 records at a time, or 2 records at a time. So if I choose 2 records at a time, it will display only 2 records. Even if in the database table, if there are thousands of records, and if I say 2 records, it will display only 2 records. So for today's demo purpose, put only 3 records at a time. I don't want to show all the records. I want to show only 3 records. I can say all records. If I have limited data, I can say all records also. I want to display all the records. But most of the time in the website, you will not show all the records, because many times there will be 500 records or 1000 records. You don't want to display all the records. You have to display only few records in one page, and then you have to create the pagination. And when pagination will be, user can move from one page to another page in the pagination. So we need to create pagination on every website or every page which we will build. So that's the reason I never choose all records. I will choose X records at a time. So generally, if we have a website, we can show 25 records per page. But here, for demo purpose, I will show only the 3 records at a time. Okay, and I will click OK. So once I click OK, you will see all the fields are displayed here. User ID, first name, last name, email, password, date of birth, gender, description, marital status, created on, access level. Now, in practical terms, you won't be showing all these fields to the user. You don't want to show my password to you or your password to me. So definitely I don't need password field. So I will select this password field and I will click the delete button. So password field is deleted. I don't want to show the email also. Email is something private. So I will delete the email also. I will not show the access level. Access level is only for my purpose. I will click the delete button. So right now I also don't want to show the created on. I will delete it. But I don't want to show, for example, user ID. I will delete it. So I will show only the first name, last name, date of birth, gender, description, and marital. So first name, I will change the heading with the first name, something decent looks. And in the last name, I will change the heading with the last name. For date of birth, I will change the heading to date of birth. Gender, I will say gender. I will say description. Marital status, I will say marital status. And I will select all this and I will make bold so that it looks little darker. So I say bold. And I'll go to the all users. I will say H1 tag. So now I want to see this. So I will click the browse and I will upload it. And then click it and I will say preview in the browser. By mistake, I opened in the Chrome. My Chrome is not working. Let's open the Firefox. Okay, it works here. So now you are able to see the two records which are there in the database. And see here, since I have only two records in the database, so I'm able to see only two records. Let's insert 5-6 records so that we should be able to see the difference. So let me upload the insert one again. Let me open this insert one. I will be adding more records. For example, Jack 2 at mkgalaxy.com. Password is password. Date of birth is, for example, 1970 0405. It's a male and good. Let's say it's a dating website. He writes about his description. Good looking guy, single. I click insert and it is created. So let's create some more. We created 3. This is 4th. Okay. I will create another one. I will say Hina Bajaj, Hina at mkgalaxy.com. Password is password. Maybe I will say age, born in 90, born in January. Right now I'm giving the myself. In real world, you will use the jQuery to show the date menu, which we will do some days after some days. And I'm female and single, and it's a single. I create a record. So record is created. Now I created 4 records total. So you will see there are 4 records. So in the database we have 4 records. Okay, let's change this Jack. Both are Jack. It doesn't look good. Let's change the Jack to, maybe I can say what I can say. Maybe Nita, Ira, something. Let's make a female. Okay, so I'm changing in the database only right now, just to make a different name. Okay, so we have 4 users in this table. Okay, so we have 4 users. Now I'll go to my page and I'll refresh it. If I refresh it, how many users you will be able to see?
3.
3, because we mentioned only 3 users in the database. Because when we define repeat region, the record set we initially created, and then we created the repeat region. When we put the dynamic table, repeat region automatically got created. So in the repeat region, I see 3, and that's the reason you are able to see only the 3 record. Now, if I want to do if I want to see the 4th record, what I will do? If I want to see all the users, so 4th record also I have to see. So what should I do?
Next page.
Next page. So we have to create the pagination, or we have to make this 4. But this 4 is not good because we have to show only the limited users in one page. In the real world, we will show 25 users or 25 records per page. But here, since we don't have so many records, I will put only 3. But I will use the pagination to show the next page, previous page, like that. So I'll click OK. 3 is okay, fine. Now I will add the pagination. To add the pagination, click enter after the table, and I'll go to the insert. I'll go to the application objects, and I will go to the record set paging. It's called record set paging. 1 second, let me see. It's called record set paging. Yeah, it's called record set paging, and in the record set paging we have many. These 4 options are useless. Don't worry about this 4 option. Only we have to use the first option. It is called recorded navigation bar. Click this recorded navigation bar, and it will ask you that next and previous should be the text field or images. If I choose image, it will show arrow, left arrow, right arrow to go front page or last page. But if I choose text, previous page and next page. So for practical purpose, I will choose the text now, and I will say OK. So once I say OK, you will see this is the first page, this is the previous page, this is the next page, and this is the last page. We are able to move forward and backward. So I will save this, and I will upload this file to the server, and then I will go there and refresh it. So when I refresh it, you will see next and last page, because this is the first page. So you cannot see the previous page and the first page because you are already on the first page. That's the reason you are not able to see the first page or the previous page. You are able to see only the next page and the last page. So let's click the next page. So once I click the next page, you will see and previous has appeared and the next and last has disappeared because this is the last page. We have only 2 pages. We have limited data. Since we have limited data, we have only 2 pages. So in one page, we are able to see first page and previous page. And in one page, we are able to see next page and last page. But if I click next page, I am able to see the 4th record. If I click the first page, I am able to see all the 3 records. So in this way, we built the user data and we did the pagination also. One more thing we have to do in the pagination, we have to show the user how many records are there and how many total records are there. So to show that how many records are there, I will click table. So this table is created for the pagination. I will click above the table and I will say insert, and I will go to the application object and I will say display record count. In the display record count, these 3 things are useless. We don't have to worry about these bottom 3 things. We have to just click the top one. I will say record navigation status. And once I click record navigation status, it will ask me which record set you want. Right now we have only 1 record set. That's the reason it's showing 1. Let's say if our application grows, we may have 10 record set or 15 record set. So we have to choose the record set which we want to use. Right now I will use only the RS user and I will click OK. So once I click OK, it's saying record 1 of 4 records. It will show like this: records 1 to 3 of 4 records, because we have 1 to 3 records in this page. To see the result, I will click browse and I will click upload, and I will go to the browser and I will refresh the page. So it's saying 1 to 3 of 4 records. Records 1 to 3 of 4 records. So 4, I am displaying 1 to 3 records. If I go to the next page, it will saying records 4 to 4, because this is the 4th record to 4th record of 4 records. So it will display the exact statistics on which page you are or which record you are watching. I can click the first and I am able to see all the records. So this way I am able to show the table. I am able to show the readings, that which page we are, and I am able to show the pagination. So this is about the select thing. Select is very big topic. This is only the initial part which we did. Now on the right side in the server panel, you will see what behaviors are created. This one we initially created, that is the record set. When we added dynamic table, this repeat region automatically got added, and this dynamic text. See, when I'm clicking this dynamic text, it is highlighting this part. This dynamic text is created automatically when we click dynamic table. And when we started to put this record 1 to 3 of 4 users, this dynamic text is created, that is called starting number, ending number, total records. When we put the pagination, These all are created. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So based on the server behavior, you is the functionality in this page. Whenever I see this record set, I know that this is something to display something on the page. So this is about all the selecting the user and displaying the user to the on the web page. This is the functionality we did today. Now, sometimes we don't have any data here. Initially when the table is empty, no data is there. So when there is no data, I want to show something that no user available. I don't want to show this table. I don't want to show this pagination because there's no data there. We have still no records. We have empty table. So if we have empty table, I want to show this no user available. Now to show this, and I want to hide this part. I want to hide these 3 sections. And I want to show this section if I don't have any record. So to do that, I will select this of the text 1, 2, and 3, and I will go to the insert. I will go to the application object, and I will say show region. And here in the show region, I will say if record set is not empty. Not empty means if there is some data, then I will show the top part, this top part. So to show the top part when there is some data. And if I don't have any data, I will select this part and I will show application objects and I will say show region and I will say record set if record set is empty. So that means if no record set is present, that means if table is empty, this part, and I will insert this part, the top one, show if record set is empty. That means if there is no data in the table, show this part. So when I click this, it is asking me which record set. So I will choose RS user and I will click OK. So that means if there is no data, I will be able to show this part. And I will select the top 3 parts and I will go to the insert and I will say application object show region and I will choose the second option. These 4 options are useless. Don't worry about this 4 option. So second option means if data is available in the table, then show about 3 table. That means this table you have to show, this you have to show, and you have to show this pagination. So these 3 things will be shown when we have data in the table, and this part will be shown when we don't have any data in the table. So to experiment it, I will upload this browser one, and I'll go to this browser and I will refresh it. Since we have data, that's the reason we are able to see top 3 section. We are not able to see this no user available section. Why we are not able to see no user available section? Because we have data. Now, if I want to show you this part, then what I have to do? I have to empty the table. So let's go to the table and I will empty the table so that you will see what happened when there is no data. So I will empty this table. That means delete all the records. So I deleted all the records. Now, if I refresh it, since there is no record, okay, not uploaded properly. Let me upload properly. Okay, I think there is some problem. It should show user not available. Let me see what happened. Yeah, everything looks good. Then why is the problem? Okay. It is not working as expected. Okay, let me see. It's not showing. Okay, I got what is the problem. I got what is the problem. So I will. So we have to start the page again because it was because of this URL. It was showing some dummy data. So now, since we don't have record in the table, and when I refresh the page, it is showing no user available. And if I enter some data, then it will show that data. So to show this one, I will enter it again one data, and you will be able to see the records. For example, I'll say mango, here, mango, let's say, I'll put password, let's put some birth date, and I will insert it. And then I will refresh this page. So you are able to see this record. And if I empty it again, this table, okay, let me empty this table again. And I'll refresh the page. You will see no user available. Are you able to understand what I explained today?
Yes.
Carrie?
Yes.
Okay. So I will write down in the notepad what we did today. Then we added record set, and we choose the connection, and we choose the table which we want to display, and rest will be the default settings. And then we went to the insert, and we chose the dynamic data, and we chose the dynamic table. Then we went to the pagination. So for pagination, we went to insert, and we went to record set paging, record set navigation bar. So we went to insert, record set paging, and record set and navigation bar. Then we went to insert, and we went to the we went to the display record count. Once I am done with this step, I was able to see the data with pagination. Now to show and hide, what I did, I created a new text, no user available, and I selected this text. I selected this text, show region, show if record set is empty. So I created text, and I say show region, show if record set is empty. And I selected all about 3 tables, 3 sections, and I clicked show if record set is not empty. We show the above part. And if table is empty, I will be using this one. If table is not empty, I will show all this part. So this is how we show the data to. This is also called browse, or this is called display, or something you, whatever name you want to say, you can call that one. So this is something you have to practice today, and try to do same thing by creating browse2 and browse3.php. Browse2 should go for table 2, second table, and browse3 should go for table 3. So that means whatever I did for table 1, you have to do table 1 also, you have to do table 2 and table 3, so that you should know what difficulties you are getting when you do table 2 and table 3, and how you will resolve those difficulties. Because uh, table 1 I explained you, so it seems to be simple, but same thing if you do for table 2, whether you are able to do, and whether you are able to do same thing for table 3 or not. So try to do 3 times, that is browse 1, browse 2, browse 3 till Monday. So we will work on more of the things in this part on Monday. But try to finish browse 1, browse 2, browse 3 at home today. Is it clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So I will save this. I will stop the today's, because we are done with the recording and the class.